Another day, another alleged plot discovered targeting President Trump. And what we see in this clip is JD Vance addressing the situation surrounding the UFC event over the weekend, while Greg Gutfeld takes on Jessica Tarlov over the same topic. But before I begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. All right, let's get into it.
The FBI busting a terror plot to attack President Trump's UFC event, using explosive drones to create panic, and then herd people into a kill zone where a sniper's nest would open fire. More than 4,000 people were at the White House and around 80,000 at a nearby watch party. 5 suspects are in custody. You're looking at 3 of them, with more than 10 people total believed to be involved. You're also looking at some of the deadly weaponry that they wanted to use to unleash chaos, including thousands of rounds of ammunition. Agents say the suspects did their homework with aerial maps and photos of locations around the White House. Did you watch any of the fight? You weren't there, were you?
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was there. I watched all the fights.
I mean, they had a lot of security there.
There was a lot of security there. So I found out about this like the president for the first time this morning. And it turns out the plot was like not that advanced. They weren't in town. They had not really done that much planning. And so I get why people are so fascinated by it. I do think the political violence and rhetoric in this country is completely out of control. But thank God we've got good law enforcement, good FBI, because it didn't even get close to the point of execution. We're protected. Like, we have so many layers of protection. I mean, hell, we have 50, sorry, FCC violation. We have 50 Secret Service agents just in this room. But what I do worry about is, like, a lot of people could have got hurt if these guys pulled this off. Not in the inner circle, not in the security detail protection, but there were 80,000 people. And those are just innocent human beings. They never asked to be involved in politics. And the fact that people were targeting them just shows how despicable the political violent rhetoric is in this country.
And an amazing job by the FBI, Kash Patel, again, getting out in front of it so it never materialized.
Listen, this has been a problem for a long time and just growing exponentially. So Obama got 3 times the number of threats and 11 credible assassination plots. Then it went up under Trump. I think Biden, had some, but not as much, and then Trump again. So obviously we have a real problem with this. And I think also the amount of conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theories that are flying around on the left and the right when things like this do happen, like Butler, for instance, or even what we saw at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where people thought that that was staged, is such an unhealthy place for us to be as a country. I think part of that is, more transparency and making sure that people know what's actually going on, and then also people in positions of power doing the right thing and coming out. Like, I appreciate that you said this actually wasn't that far along, right? Like, we were safe and the event was safe, because I think that people do want to, mix it up, stir it up. They want that algorithm to be juiced in, whatever partisan direction you're in, and for it to turn into President Trump almost died, or, Obama almost died, et cetera. So,
Greg?
I don't know. I mean, when I hear you talk about Obama's threats, and I know that's been debunked,
what?
He hundreds and hundreds of threats. We're talking
11 credible
we can go through that in the break, and you'll find out that a lot of these threats were just like emails and phone calls. We're talking about people that try to kill leaders. There's been nothing like this in the history of this country. You know what? It's so important. The tell for this is whenever you're talking to a liberal, they galvanize that evidence. They are so intent on trying to tell you it's both sides. That tells you that it's not. We know that it's just one way. If Dana points out the language used, capitalist elites, billionaires, AIPAC, Jews, right? I didn't know Plattner and Hassan Piker had time to plan this, because that's the same language they use. The motive, the rhetoric, is directly related to the inflammatory rhetoric of the mainstream left, which has become so mundane because you're supporting some with a Nazi tattoo on his chest. This is why liberal outrage has no credibility. I can say bad things about Joy Behar, but no right-wing group is going to go burn down her house. A wrestler can call Michelle a man. I doubt a right-wing group is going to her house in Hawaii. But you do a repetition of demonization about Nazis and fascists and white supremacists. Is it no surprise that Charlie Kirk gets killed? Is it no surprise that Trump gets shot at? Is it no surprise there are these large terror plans that end up being thwarted? We're lucky they got thwarted. By the way, to your answer, the reason why they're always young is because young zealots do the work that old socialists won't. The old socialists will make money writing books about their ideology, but they won't leave the house unless, Bette Midler's playing. These guys buy into their rhetoric, and then they go out and they act out, and then you have the old socialists going, well, these people are stupid. You can look it up. Look up Obama.
I'm happy to look it up. This break is going to be amazing on the Google machine. I'm just saying, there are Melissa Hortman, who was killed, the pipe bomber, Cesar Sayak. What do you mean, the people shooting up Walmart? Kind of rhetoric? Listen to the rhetoric.
Do it side by side. It's one way.
Communists. That sounds like Donald Trump talking about leftists, calling people vermin, scum. Like, that we're traitors.
You're comparing that to a repetitive rhetoric that's been going on for 10 years, where people are called Nazis and deserve to die. That's what conservatives hear every single day. Save it.
Well, I hear terrible things on the show every day.
But that's just for me.
The fact that we are even sitting here talking about another failed assassination and terror plot against President Trump, this time involving explosive-laden drones and snipers targeting the UFC Freedom event at the White House, is absolutely sickening. Thank God federal law enforcement caught these 5 suspects before they could execute a mass casualty attack on Trump, Vice President JD Vance, and a crowd of American citizens. But instead of total unified condemnation, what do we get from liberals like Jessica Tarlov? The exact same tired both sides lecture. Greg Gutfeld completely destroyed Jessica Tarlov's weak talking points. She tried her absolute best to play the referee, whining that both sides need to tone down the rhetoric and pointing to historical threats against Obama or Biden to minimize what's happening right now. Gutfeld totally called out the garbage nature of that defense. There's a massive difference between someone sending a threatening email and an organized ring of operators moving beyond words to deploy weapons, drones, and snipers to physically assassinate a president. The both sides argument simply doesn't fly. Gutfeld hit the nail on the head. Conservatives can criticize TV personalities, corrupt politicians, or radical activists all day long without expecting their supporters to physically harm them. When Republicans use terms like socialist or communist, those are political arguments meant to be settled at the ballot box. But when media figures and political leaders spend years labeling Donald Trump and his supporters as existential threats to democracy, such rhetoric can contribute to an atmosphere where unstable individuals feel justified in resorting to violence. The double standard from the establishment media is glaring. They hyper-focus on rhetoric from the right while downplaying violent acts committed by individuals associated with left-wing causes. They try to treat fringe actors with no connection to mainstream conservatism as representative of the entire right, while ignoring broader questions about political radicalization across the spectrum. JD Vance put it perfectly when he addressed the UFC plot. This was not simply a few individuals acting irrationally. It was allegedly a coordinated plan involving explosive drones intended to create chaos and facilitate an attack. The media's instinct to protect its own political side from scrutiny reveals a lack of accountability. The dynamic we are seeing play out is a reminder of how broken political discourse has become. If people are repeatedly told that the country is on the verge of a fascist dictatorship, it should not be surprising when some unstable individuals take that message literally and act on it. Meaningful progress will only happen when political leaders across the spectrum confront radical elements within their own movements. There is selective enforcement regarding inflammatory rhetoric. Commentators on one side are allowed to use extreme language against political opponents, while conservatives are condemned for forcefully pushing back. The Democrats' endless blame games serve as a distraction from the deeper issues driving political division and instability in the country. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.